So today's review is a Jovoy fragrance called Remember Me. So there are quite a few Jovoy fragrances that I've tried, but this one seemed interesting because it is considered a citrus gourmand. I have mixed feelings about gourmand sweet fragrances in general, but I have a feeling I'm probably going to like this one based on the notes that it has. So going in, this is actually a pretty modern fragrance, 2018, and unisex. So we'll see how that goes, along with all its other potential bonuses. So it is actually, when I think of a gourmand type of fragrance, I think of something very sugary, very, maybe even a little artificial smelling. This is not any of those things. So it kind of reminds me of Earl Grey tea, actually. Like, you know, when you get some Earl Grey and then you put some milk in it, milk and sugar. It has that sort of creaminess, but it has the leafiness and the boldness of the tea. I don't know, but the top notes, there's only 3 of them. Cardamom, lemon, and bergamot. Now, citrus is not exactly the first thing that comes to mind. You can smell it, definitely, it's there. But the other notes kind of overpower the citrus notes a little bit. The lemon is actually more prominent than the bergamot. The bergamot's kind of drifting around. The lemon, though, that's more prominent. That's more a little bit reminiscent of like some sort of like, I don't know, like a lemon pastry. You know, you go to the store, you buy like one of those lemon muffins or something. It has that kind of sharpness to it with a little bit of sweetness, but it's not too strong. It's really more in the background, that citrusiness. Now the cardamom, that's, I mean, by nature, cardamom is a pretty strong note. That definitely comes through. It does have that kind of boldness, that spiciness. And it's very nice because it's mixed with the citrus, which balances out a little bit, and then also balanced out by some of the other notes throughout, you know, the entire fragrance. There's not actually that many notes in this, but the middle notes, again, there's only 3. Tea, ginger, and frangipani. So I guess I was right about the tea kind of esque smell to it. I really like it. It's a mild smell, but it has kind of a faint boldness to it, if that makes any sense. Again, it's kind of like that just bold leafiness of that tea note mixed with some of these softer notes to kind of smooth it out a little bit, make it a little bit kind of creamy-esque, that sort of thing. Now the ginger, it's there, but again, kind of like the lemon note, you know it's there, but it's kind of in the background, so it's not really overpowering the whole fragrance, because ginger in general is a very strong note. It's very sharp, very prominent, but here it's toned down in favor of the tea note, I would say, because the tea note, along with the cardamom, at least to me, those seem to be the strongest notes so far. And then the base notes, there's a milk, which is a pretty uncommon note, vanilla, woodsy notes, and cedar. So all those come together really, really well. Again, the milk with the tea note and the cardamom, very kind of Earl Grey-esque, or even a little bit like chai tea, you know, one of those kind of bolder, spicier teas, toned down by that milk note. The milk note, actually, you can kind of, you know, I guess that's kind of that creamy note I was talking about. It has that certain smoothness that also dilutes the stronger notes like the tea and the cardamom, so everything is pretty well balanced. Now, the woodsy notes, I would say they're very, very faint. I don't really get much of a woodsiness from this particular fragrance. The cedar may be very distantly in the background. There is a type of dry woodsiness. And the vanilla, that's more prominent, along with the milk and the tea. But, again, the woodsy notes are more on the fainter side with this. Now, overall, I really like the smell of this. Definitely not what I would expect from a gourmand fragrance, because again, I usually think of something very dessert-esque with the caramel notes, chocolate notes, praline, you know, that sort of thing. But this is actually It is still like because gourmand just means, you know, foodie or related to food smelling. This is definitely, you could tell, it's something kind of edible. Again, it smells very, very similar to, at least I think, Earl Grey tea with some milk and sugar in it. But nothing too crazy, you know, not something sugary sweet, nothing too dessert-esque. And now longevity, this is kind of designed to be more of a mild type of fragrance, so it's not going to be, you know, this explosive longevity or anything. It's very nice for a subtle type of fragrance, and it's not too subtle. It's not going to disappear, you know, within the hour. It's definitely one of those fragrances, I would say about 4 hours of longevity. You know, that kind of hovers around there. Projection, more mild. Again, it's meant to be more subtle, a little bit more on the natural side. It is very, very pleasant, just overall though. So despite kind of the shorter longevity, it just still has a very nice smell. Now, unisex, I definitely think this is a pretty good unisex option because, again, it's not too sweet or sugary or this or that. It's very much in the middle. You just got those tea notes, those ginger and cardamom notes. So it is very, very balanced overall. And I do like just how it smells in general because it actually smells very unique. You don't really come across too many fragrances that have tea notes or milk notes or those notes that are mixed with, you know, cardamom and citrus. You know, it's a very unique approach for what this is trying to do, mixing those citrusy notes with the heavier, slightly spicier types of notes. So definitely a very, very unique smell. This is definitely something to where if you really want to smell different from everyone else, this is definitely just a niche fragrance in general. And Jovoy as a brand usually produces pretty distinct fragrances. So this is no different. You know, they put a lot of effort into making their fragrance pretty distinctive. But this is definitely a nice, kind of subtle, more of a casual type of fragrance. Because again, it's not super strong. No, it's not a clubbing fragrance. It's not really too much of an evening fragrance. It kind of could be, but you know, again, it has more of a casual type of feel to it. Going out to get the groceries, going to work, you know, walking around, just a nice casual kind of daytime fragrance. But overall, I think this is a really nice fragrance. I think it just has a nice kind of comforting, slightly sweet smell to it. But yeah, I think this is great. So that's pretty much my review for Remember Me by Jovoy. If you enjoyed this video, of course, you could leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.